He's a former Marine and a decorated combat veteran. Now, Lieutenant Colonel Damon Friedman is producing a film following the lives of combat warriors and their silent struggles.
And all of our guys and gals who've seen combat, they're looking for a solution, and they're looking for hope, and they're looking for purpose.
That and more on today's 700 Club Interactive. Well, welcome to the show. We're going to start with some trending stories, and the top of them is Tim Tebow. He hasn't played in the NFL in more than 4 years, but a new career in baseball and a new book has Tebow back in the spotlight. Recently, Tebow sat down with Harry Connick Jr. to discuss his new book, where he was asked about this story. Back in 2009, Tebow used John 3:16 in his eye black. Well, during that game, more than 90 million people Googled John 3:16. Fast forward 3 years to the day, Tebow had his biggest game as a Bronco, leading the team to a playoff victory against the Steelers. And afterward, Tebow found out some staggering statistics. He threw for 316 yards. He averaged 31.6 yards per completion, and the Steelers' time of possession was 31 minutes and 6 seconds. A Ben Roethlisberger interception, which set up the final score on third down and 16 yards to go. And finally, CBS News, their overnight ratings, that's right, 31.6. And Tebow had this to say to Harry Connick Jr. A lot of people said it was coincidence. I say, big God. And I would say big God, too.
I would say big God,
I've heard
too.
those stats before, and those are, I mean, a stunning game. And the end of the story was they traded him in the offseason. So.
Such a nice guy, though. I feel like he's so consistent and so true to who he is and what he believes. And God just keeps blessing him, you know, and it pays to sit down and let God elevate you. Yes. Let me just say.
Promotion comes from the Lord.
Amen.
That's a Bible verse. You can receive nothing unless it comes from the Lord. That's another Bible verse. Those are things to remember. So seek him first. Amen. All these other things get added unto you.
And he just quietly does that in a special way. Well, he has fans of all ages, but this 89-year-old grandmother may be his biggest, and she got the surprise of her life. Take a look.
That's not Tim Tebow. Is it? Oh my God! You're kidding.
I'm not.
Oh my God! Oh, you
How
don't
are you?
know how much I prayed to meet you. Oh my God! You're kidding me.
Was this worth it?
I can't believe. Can I kiss you?
Yes.
I love you. I love your mama. I love
Thank
your
you.
daddy. I love Robbie. And I love all your family.
Thank you so much.
Prayed for you for years.
Thank you.
My Lord.
OMG goes viral.
Oh, that all fans.
That's a great clip. Well, speaking of surprises, Julie Workman is a Navy petty officer deployed in the Middle East since January. And she wanted to give her son Dylan an early Christmas present. So she set up a surprise photo with Santa and returned just in time for the holidays. And here is Dylan's reaction. It's a hug of a lifetime. Julie says they've yet to make Christmas plans and that she's just looking forward to getting back to doing normal things, such as taking Dylan to school and to basketball. And what a wonderful thing. And we need to remember our servicemen and women and what they're doing and how they're sacrificing for us. We're in one of the longest conflicts in U.S. history, I shouldn't say one of the longest one. And you're looking at multiple deployments. And that was a picture that really brought it home of how many times they have been absent during the holidays, absent for birthdays, absent for the major things in life. and we need to give back to them.
And I'm sure for Dylan is old enough to be watching the news, and I'm sure there's that nagging fear of, is something going to happen to my mom or dad while they're away?
Well, that's always a nagging
Yeah.
fear when people are in service and people are in harm's way. Yes.
But no matter how many times I see those reunion stories, I always tear up with every one of them. But how wonderful that they're together for Christmas. Well, many servicemen and women have difficulties re-entering the workforce after retiring, especially if they've been injured. After 5 knee injuries and a rebuilt left knee, Clay Luthi took his service dog into Lowe's for a job interview and got the job. A post on Facebook turned the duo into overnight celebrities.
I think Charlotte's famous. I'm just the schmuck on the other end of the leash. Yeah, she's famous. I'm infamous.
Charlotte's main job is medical alert. Clay says she can sense when he needs medical attention. And one other note, Charlotte is 10 years old and nearing retirement herself. Clay's currently training Ruby for service and her new position at Lowe's.
Well, go Lowe's. That's a wonderful thing
Hear,
to
hear.
do.
Yes.
Hiring our veterans, it's absolutely great. Well, a New York City officer is making life a little better for a 70-year-old homeless man. Frank Redna is a transit officer who saw this man rummaging through a trash can at Grand Central Station. The man told the officer he was looking for a pair of diabetic socks. Well, Redna, not aware that anyone was watching, offered to buy socks for the man for Christmas.
Well, a nearby man was watching and decided to write a Facebook post. Since then, Officer Redna has gotten more attention than he used to.
Someone that caught a very small snippet of an interaction that I've had 100 times over with this gentleman. His name is Ron. I met him probably about 2 years ago, and I see him probably twice a month. I asked him about his last doctor's appointment. He said his feet were still hurting. His doctor told him that he needed some diabetic socks, and he just couldn't get the socks right now. I said, no problem, bud. You know what? For Christmas, I will make sure you get your diabetic socks. Last month, him and I celebrated his 70th birthday. We had some Nutter Butters at 125th Street. It's what he wanted for his birthday. No problem. That's what you get for your birthday. It wasn't anything that really wasn't anything special in my eyes.
Pretty special in our eyes. Police Commissioner James O'Neill saw the post and expressed his pride in the police and the people of New York.
Well, it's definitely
Wonderful.
making us all proud. That's a wonderful thing
Yeah,
to do.
it really is. Well, coming up, he's a decorated veteran with a desire to help other servicemen and women find answers to common struggles.
All of our guys and gals who've seen combat, they're looking for a solution, and they're looking for hope, and they're looking for purpose.
Lieutenant Colonel Damon Friedman joins us in studio. That's next. Don't go away.
Well, here's this terrible stat. Every 65 minutes, a combat veteran commits suicide. And post-traumatic stress is the real enemy. And thankfully, there are men like Damon Friedman who are helping others fight that battle.
Lieutenant Colonel Damon Friedman is a former Marine and a decorated combat veteran in the United States Air Force. Damon understands firsthand the brutal effects of war and post-traumatic stress. He served 4 combat deployments to Iraq and Afghanistan in support of the global war on terror, earning 3 Bronze Stars, 1 with Valor, as well as the Combat Action Medal.
And all of our guys and gals who've seen combat, they're looking for a solution, and they're looking for hope, and they're looking for purpose.
Now he's the executive producer for the film Surrender, which follows the lives of combat warriors, their silent struggles, and the answers they found on the way to personal healing.
Well, Damon is here with us, and thank you for being with us, and thanks for your service.
Well, thank you very much. Honored to be here.
Well, let's talk about your story first. You were in combat, and you made a deal with God. Tell us about that.
Yeah, just going in, it was back in 2010, going into the Korengal Valley with General McChrystal, big mission, into a place called the Valley of Death. Mm-hmm. And it was just a huge firefight. It was one of the places where a lot of Americans had been killed. And it was a big mission to make sure that we conducted the nation's bidding and able to kind of bring back our guys from that place. And it was just an overwhelming enemy, lots of Taliban fighters out there.
Is that why it was named the Valley of Death?
Yes, because it's actually it's taken a lot of great American lives. Yeah.
What happened? What was your bargain?
My bargain was basically knowing that just the dire situation that I was in, and understanding that there were not enough bullets and bombs to take out all the bad guys. I got to a position where I knew that there's no way that we could get out of there, all of my guys to come out all in one piece. And it was just to this point where I felt really overwhelmed and knew that the only way to get out of there was through some type of divine providence. And it was a time that I had a conversation with God. He captured my attention, and he just said, listen, Damon, I made you for a purpose. All the things that you've ever dealt with, all the experience, the skills that you have, the training, the deployments, I made you for a purpose. And it's not just to be a special ops warfighter for the nation, but to be a kingdom warrior for me. And that was a time where I said, Lord, if you get me and all my men out of here alive, I will know it'll be by your hand and your hand alone, and I will worship you the rest of my days. And that was the beginning of an incredible journey.
What happened? You get out?
No, I stayed in. But there was a lot of issues that I had to deal with. The Lord really revealed a lot of the things a lot of sin that was in my life. And what he started doing was piecing me back together. And I had this big issue. I said, God, I got this black heart. I've got this tainted mind. I've got a failed marriage. I made a lot of really bad decisions. And I don't know how to get out of this. And he said this to me. He said, if you will just give me all of your heart, all of your mind, all of your soul, and do it with all your strength, I will renew you. So he didn't just fix up my heart or fix up my mind. He gave me a new heart. He gave me a new mind. And there was a radical transformation in my life. And from that point, that was the very beginning of maybe I'm called to bring the message of hope and purpose to my own people.
Well, let's talk about that. Let's talk about that message of hope, because I think a lot of Americans aren't aware of what happens to somebody when they're subject to prolonged combat. That you will automatically suffer. I mean, it will have an impact on you. We've got names for it: post-traumatic stress disorder. And I actually don't like that name, because it's not really a disorder. It's an injury that's happened because somebody's been exposed to prolonged violence. What happened with you on this?
Well, I will tell you that every warrior that goes to combat processes combat differently. They process the war differently, right? It affects people differently. And I will tell you that a lot of people don't know this, but since 2001, over 2.5 million men and women have deployed to Afghanistan and Iraq, and that's more than the entire Vietnam War. And we've been at war for 15 years, so now we're just starting to see the implications of combat, the scars of war that our men and women are bringing back home. And at the end of the day, this post-traumatic stress, we experience this traumatic experience, catastrophic experience, and then we come back and we're just different people. People go, what's wrong with me? Let me tell you what's wrong. You just saw some really bad stuff. You saw dead people. You did the nation's bidding, and it comes at a cost. But at the end of the day, the question becomes this, and I like what you said about you don't like the PTSD. A lot of us have post-traumatic stress, and the normal stresses of everyday life become exacerbated because of this condition. But a lot of times, our warriors don't realize it's not the fact that you have it. It's a fact on how you respond. You know what I mean?
Is that why we're seeing such high suicide rates? I mean, to hear it's every 65 minutes, one of our veterans is taking their life.
These veterans are taking their lives because they come to a point where they have absolutely no hope at all. And so that's my mission. My mission is to say, let me tell you something. If you're out there and you're struggling with post-traumatic stress, if you've come to this point where, hey, I don't have a reason to live, there's nothing good in life to live for, I'm here to tell you this, that there is hope. A lot of people don't know who Jesus is, who's the commander of the universe, who's the greatest warrior that ever lived. And when they have an encounter with Jesus, it's completely different than they could have possibly imagined. You see, the Jesus that a lot of people that don't really know who he is don't really understand the power, just the power to change and transform them that God has. But when you introduce them to who Jesus really is, it's a game changer. And that's really what I'm in the business of doing.
Okay, is that the core behind your program now?
Yes, absolutely. So that's why we did this film. We wanted to be able to be shared all across the nation, to get in the hands of all the chaplains, all the veterans, all of these, if you know somebody who's a veteran, basically to have the opportunity to watch it, because these are 6 operators of the most elite warriors that this nation has, and they're sharing their experience of signing on the bottom line, going, conducting combat, coming back, dealing with the scars of war, and then how Jesus, the commander of the universe, changes each person's life radically. And so this is a message of hope. When people watch this, it is made Hollywood quality, and it is very dynamic, and it's extremely explosive.
What can a veteran do who's going through it? And, I'm hearing a lot of stories. This is the military area, and I'm hearing a lot of, I just got back in from combat, and now I'm supposed to play with my daughters in the living room. And there's just this disconnect where I can't leave the tension of it. It's invading my dreams, it's invading my thoughts, and I just can't get back to life as normal. What would you tell them?
I would say that that's natural. That's absolutely natural. And a lot of guys that get discouraged over it, it's like, I don't know what's wrong with me. There's nothing wrong with you, man. Fact is, again, you saw some really ugly stuff. And depending on how close you are to the fight, you might see even more ugly stuff. But you need to find some time to rest and recover. You need some time to reconcile some of the things that you're struggling with. Because every one of us is called to do something great in this world for the kingdom. It's a matter of whether or not we answer that call. And so I would tell that person let me tell you something, that God didn't just allow these things to happen by accident. He called you for a purpose. And what you're really looking for, and this is the majority of America, they're looking for hope, they're looking for peace. And that individual is struggling when he's playing with his daughter. Trust me, I've got a son and I got a daughter, and I know exactly what it's like to try to play with my son, but knowing I got problems. Well, my biggest problem is that I don't have somebody taking care of me, fixing me up, strengthening me, encouraging me. Jesus, the commander of the universe. And it would be the very beginning of, let's start a journey, and let me introduce you to the greatest warrior that ever lived.
How important is it just to have that conversation with somebody that knows what it's like?
I think it's extremely important. Absolutely. And let's just also consider something. Man is made of mind, body, and soul. We're all about trying to address the psychological issues. We're all here trying to address the physical issues. But what about the spiritual component? And that is the missing entity. That's why we developed the Surrender Project that helps out our warriors and put them on a path of wellness. We address it holistically, psychologically, physically, and spiritually. The fact is that no one, and I don't care who you are or what genetic makeup you're made of, if you don't have God in your life, you're missing a critical component in finding peace.
Amen. Well, thanks for being here.
Thank you.
If you know somebody who is struggling with post-traumatic stress, please don't call it a disorder. It's a normal human response to what they've been through. And let's just leave it at post-traumatic stress. Yes. If you know somebody that's got that, here's a DVD for you. It's called Surrender. If you'd like to find out how to get a copy, all you have to do is visit our website, cbn.com. Terry, over to you.
Well, coming up, the love and grace of God. It's displayed throughout His creation, and He wants you to experience it. You don't want to miss this visual journey. It's coming up next. According to a recent study, the number of refugees worldwide has topped 65 million. One refugee camp in Thailand was doing its best to train students to share the gospel until a fire destroyed everything. Take a look.
Tucked along the border between Thailand and Burma, also called Myanmar, lies a refugee camp. Inside, a missionary Bible school is training students to share the gospel in some of the most Buddhist countries on earth. This is Nane. She's been attending the school for about a year.
I want to become a missionary and share this good news with my countrymen back in Myanmar.
For years, students have lived in a dormitory inside the camp. That is, until a fire destroyed it and nearly everything they owned.
I had never seen a fire like that before. I cried so hard. My hands were shaking. Everything in our dormitory turned to ashes. My clothes, my books, my Bible from my parents was gone.
For months, the students were forced to sleep at a clearing near the river.
We lay down on banana leaves and also used them as blankets.
At first, a CBN disaster relief team came with food, blankets, medicine, and clothing.
Every day, I helped bring food to the older folks. I encouraged them to ask God for help and to remember that we are in His hands.
In the weeks that followed, we built a new dormitory for the Bible students. Today, Nane has a safe place to live as she continues her training to be a missionary. We had one other small gift for her, a new Bible to replace the one that had burned in the fire.
This is such a precious gift from CBN. It's so important to me because it is a lamp to my feet. I'm very, very happy.
In the new prayer room inside the dormitory, something else is happening.
Twice a month, we join together for a 24-hour prayer meeting. We always pray for CBN and CBN partners. Thank you for being God's hands who helped us.
I bet you didn't know that you are being prayed for halfway around the world by people you may never meet in this world, but whose lives have been radically changed by your membership in the 700 Club. We are touching people right at their point of need, just as this young girl and all of her fellow students were, making a difference, opening doors of hope and opportunity. That's just part of what you do when you join the 700 Club. We're feeding people, clothing people, always sharing the love of God with them, always sharing with them where this blessing comes from. We want to say thank you if you're partnering with us. If you're not, what a great day to join. You know, it's the holiday season and you have a wonderful opportunity to give back today. So get up from where you're sitting, go to your computer or your phone. You can log on to 700clubinteractive.com or you can call us 1-800-700-7000. That number's toll free. Just say, I want to join the 700 Club. 65 cents a day, $20 a month makes you a 700 Club member. We welcome you to the family of ministries here, reaching out to the world with the love of God. Please call now. We need to hear from you. Gordon?
Well, right now, we want to take you on a visual journey. It's what life is all about, and in a word, it's about grace.
Breathe it in. Take a big gulp. Wide-eyed with wonder. The childlike rush lifts you up. Uncontrollable, wildly free. With arms wide open, the joyful deep cries out to me. Cascading peace, a cleansing stream. Wherever it moves through, life's promise conquers my torment. Fill your lungs. Scream it out. Whoever has seen and tasted, in this present moment, you've taken hold of what it's all about. The grace of God.
Wonderful video, wonderful pictures. Here's some thoughts for you just to consider for today. Consider this. We were made to live in a garden. That's what God's plan was, His original plan. We were made to live in a garden. And in the cool of the evening, in that garden, God would come down and talk with us. The great news is Jesus came down to talk with us and to show us a way back to Him, back into that garden experience where our ears would be opened, our eyes would be open. We could once again have communion with Him. Now, did we earn that? No. Did we deserve it? No. How did it happen? It happens because of God's grace. And when you understand that He loves you so much, He was willing to die for you, well, then everything else falls into place. It is unmerited favor where God wants a relationship with us so badly, He's willing to do anything. For God so loved the world that He gave His only begotten Son. Now, what's in it for Him? Ask that question. Why? Why would He want to do this? Because He wants to have fellowship with us. I was out one morning looking at the stars, saw planets in the line of the ecliptic, and, what are we that you're mindful of us? I asked the same question the psalmist asked. The answer stunned me. You can appreciate it. So today, appreciate God's creation, appreciate His grace, appreciate what He's done for us. And here it is in Romans, for I am not ashamed of the gospel, because it is the power of God that brings salvation to everyone who believes.